Again, we're for 4 quarters played a real complete, very precise game that really executed at a high level.
Robert and Corey both said that it was their favorite game they had ever played in offensively for Clemson. Could you see that?
Oh, it looked like they had a lot of confidence, very focused for the entire game, and really felt that they enjoyed playing because they knew what was coming, and they were playing disciplined. I just thought, just overall, really the discipline, and then the game's so much simpler when you play with discipline and you're reading your key and you're trusting your key and reacting to your key, and then you're simplifying the game. So now you're able to play fast and physical, and everybody kind of did their part. There were no quote-unquote weak links in the game. All 3 levels really played well, and so were they happy? You saw guys enjoying the game, and that doesn't happen a whole lot. And sometimes you kind of get in the groove and you catch a team when they're a little bit off, and you're really on, and again you kind of overwhelm them. And again, as a football team, we really complemented each other in every way really well. So it's not just about just playing well, it's also catching them on a bad day too, where sometimes it's not as much you, sometimes it's you and them not executing for whatever reason. So that being said, long story short, I can see why they were having fun out there.
What do you expect to see in your first meeting with Louisville from an offensive standpoint with Coach Petrino and Coach McGee as their offensive coordinator?
Tough and physical, multiple. They've got excellent wideouts and 2 or 3 backs that are strong and physical and explosive. Good tight ends, and again, like I say, multiple in their formations and things they do in the run and the play action. We'll get a little bit like last week in regards to a variety of personnel groups, and they do a great job of using those personnel groups the right way. They try to put themselves in favorable matchups, and not really have had any experience defending their schemes. It's kind of been kind of getting baptized here this week in that regard, and and going back and looking back all the way at Western Kentucky as well, and seeing some of the DNA, if you will, of their bread and butter, the things that show up pretty consistently. And of course, I think they won maybe 8 games. Coach Petrino won 8 games last year at Western Kentucky, and that obviously doesn't happen by accident. He knows what he's doing. The players are very confident. The O-line plays aggressive, and they're talented. Coach Strong and their staff did a great job of recruiting, and I think that's well documented in their success against top teams has been renownedly known. So they won't come into Death Valley in awe, I don't believe. I think the mantra of that team is about being tough and having an edge to them, and competing at a very, very high emotional level. Their guys are a lot of guys that wear it on the sleeve, and I like that. I've got respect for that. So.
What was your initial evaluation when Big Beasley, the first time you put your eyes on him? I know it took a while to find his spot, but when you first saw him, what was your initial?
I thought he was a linebacker, but he's long. Obviously he's a ball of muscle, and but he's got good length to him. But that was, you were saying before I saw him play.
When you first got him,
Yeah.
and evaluated what you had, and started evaluating.
Yeah, quick and explosive, and great change of direction.
Where would you evaluate or place Petrino as an offensive mind, and and play caller against some of the other really good offensive minds you faced?
Oh, he's obviously, I mean, his track record speaks for itself, what they're able to do on offense. And, he's had incredible success and very consistent success and more success than most. So he doesn't need me to rate him. He's done well for himself. And wherever he goes, his players play at a high level. He knows what he's doing and knows how to put him in a position to be successful and how to execute and be precise and be competitive and tough. And that's what I can appreciate the most, whether it's his receivers blocking on the perimeter or the competitiveness overall as a unit and the confidence that they play with. That's something that's always followed him.
Is there any particular trait or trend to his play calling?
They move the ball and they score points, and they're multiple, and how they do it is not just one thing. Mike Leach is known for the air raid, and he does an awesome job as well, and they put up prolific numbers throwing the football. Petrino, I think he understands how to utilize his personnel based on what he has, and he's an excellent football coach.
Is it fun for you to go up against a guy like that?
It's not me. I'm not going to tackle anybody, cover anybody. I just, it's your plan or your schemes and how you called it. That's way overrated. It's how your players play. The precision, the technique, the effort, the toughness. This game's always about fundamentals and technique and who's playing with great effort and coaches get way too much credit, and that's it definitely isn't going to be about me or Coach Petrino when we get to the field Saturday.
Jack mentioned Tony Stewart not only playing at a high level, but also looking like he's having the time of his life out there. Do you kind of have a similar assessment as to his level of play and also his enthusiasm?
He's playing very, very confident, having fun, enjoying himself. He's in a leadership role, and it's very natural for him. He's playing very well. He's graded out really well overall this season, and kind of hitting his stride right now. And, it's a great time for him to be able to do that, being his senior year, obviously, and going through the things that he's had to overcome. So as a coach, you always enjoy seeing your players have that kind of success, especially as hard a worker he's been.
Talk about the defensive confidence. Have you seen that not only in the game practices as well this week?
Sure. This week, every week is just, I don't know, you always kind of start over. So I'll judge the week by the end of the week. They come out last night. It's always good after you play well and win. Probably win and then play well too. Probably in that order. Not probably, it is always. I think our guys have been pretty confident, and again, that comes through your work and obviously your performance. But I think this year, generally speaking, with as much experience that we have returning and the quality of players that we have, I think remember at the beginning of the year, you have all these different parts and different tools by different guys, if you will, and now it's about putting them together and then developing a chemistry, and sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't, and I think we're developing that chemistry and that trust, and that takes a little bit of time to try to nourish that and get that right, and when you have it, when it's at a high level, it's you can overcome a lot.
Brent, do you think it's going to fire up your guys any more this week that Louisville features the country's top defense? They're coming into your place.
You'd have to ask our guys.
Yeah.
We're not talking about it. Maybe we should. I don't know. I just sometimes you don't want to create certain issues like that where it becomes a life of its own, and that's where the focus is. And in reality, it's not where it needs to be. So it really shouldn't have any outcome whatsoever to me on the game. And now, if you're facing the most prolific offense in the country, and I think what you have is instant respect from your players. So I'm sure our offensive guys are fully aware of that, and you just watch the tape. You recognize good from bad and great from good and those kind of things. So we know as a football team they're very talented. They've again have had incredible success, and will come in here very confident.
And looking back at what they did last year, what do you kind of expect a guy like Devontae Parker? He's supposed to be back. How does he kind of change things? And even if he's a rusty guy, just his presence.
Oh, we'll just imagine if we had Sammy Watkins back right now, you know what that would be like, and then you take him out of it, and we're still pretty good. That's them; they're still really pretty good. They're very deep at receiver, but you put a special player like that out on the field, and he can change a game in a heartbeat. And whether it's a matchup issue or just his explosive playmaking, I'm sure it gives their players a little bit of juice, a little bit of confidence from a play caller standpoint. Just throw it in the vicinity, and their guy's going to make a play. So, he's an excellent talent, and from the sounds of it, he's focused on his football team, and I love that. Where it's easier now than ever to get focused and maybe and put the cart before the horse, looking down the road to the NFL. It seems as though on the outside looking in, he's got his focus where it needs to be, and so that's cool to see that too. So I'm sure he's a humble, hard-working young guy.
Has it ever been your style to put your best corner on a supreme talent like that? Is McKenzie?
It's got to fit into your game plan, and maybe in certain situations, but it has to fit into your game plan. Overall, you don't want to change everything. What if he goes and he's out there and he's just a decoy, because he's not quite as healthy or whatnot. So you don't want to formulate a game plan, and then every snap, you got this guy, quote unquote, matching him. But certainly have done things where you try to put the matchup in your favor, or maybe give yourself an opportunity to defend things better from a matchup standpoint. Yes.
Is McKenzie there yet?
Is he? Yeah, absolutely. But I love the way Gary's playing too. Gary, nobody would be more angry than Gary Peters if you had everybody in the room say, "Hey, we're using you and not you." Ask Gary. Gary would be. I already know. Which I love about Gary.
Does it change your approach at all when their best player is coming off, having not played in 6 weeks?
I don't.
Supposed to be fresh?
Listen, at the end of the day, you're looking at schemes and putting your players in position to defend what they do best. Put our guys in, and again, that's to take nothing away from. Again, if you got Todd Gurley in the backfield, you're fully aware when he's in the game, so you're always going to know he's out there. But you got to look at the big picture, and it's still about their 11 versus our 11, and it won't be about just one guy. And now their one guy can make a difference, but anyway, that Louisville's much bigger than just one guy, and as well as we are. So.
With the injuries to Tony and Venable, where Kellen Jones is a guy who may have to play a bigger role this week, what does he bring to the table, and how has he progressed since you've been coaching him?
Well, he's progressed a lot. He's grown up and matured, but he's an instinctive, quick twitch, see ball, get ball, prototypical, linebacker. Plays pretty fast. He's got good football intelligence for the most part, and he's a good player. He's not he's an excellent player. He's not a liability having him out there. So unless you're in punt safe, he had the penalty and blocked the guy in the back. I thought we were going to fumble the ball, and then it was going to be their ball, and then it was going to be total catastrophe. Somehow we got the ball. I don't know how, but we did. And thankfully, Adam Humphries wasn't injured in the process. So other than that, he gives you a comfort level as a coach, too, knowing he's out there, because he's had experience. He's played all three positions, and he's been, in our system now for 3 years. So,
given how far back your relationship with him goes, maybe further back than any other player, do you feel there's a uniqueness to the relationship that you have with him?
Certainly. Kellen's a neat young guy that's got a unique background, and from that standpoint, and relationship with his parents through the initial recruiting process is I've recruited some guys here too that I have the same kind of relationships with, but from a linebacker standpoint, a little bit unique. And again, his background and having the physical issues that he's had growing up, that he's had to overcome, kind of help and manage that and help guide him through college has been it's been a lot of fun and learning experience for me, as well. So.
You feel like there's good synergy, maybe as good a synergy as there's been since you've been here with all three levels of your defense?
No doubt. Yep. I think we got a comfort level, and again, and some of that's the experience, but you have the experience blended with some young, talented young guys that know how to work, and some older guys are helping some of these young guys come along. So. I do. I think that chemistry is developing, and again, sometimes it's like putting a square peg through a round circle. It just something's just not right, and that really happens like that a lot. And to have a group that's got great chemistry is fun to be around. So.
All set.
Right.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.